So I decided to go for a game that I definitely know is good this week. What a novel surprise. Yeah, it's not been long since I played Super Farm, but in all honesty, I feel like it's been forever since I played a game that fully worked and that I actually like playing. So I decided to share something that isn't really obscure, but it is a definitely interesting talking point. Postal 2 is the sequel to the 90s isometric shooting game about a man who goes on a killing spree. I personally haven't played the original Postal, but that's more or less fine, as Postal 2 has very little connection to the original. In this game, you live the life of the Postal Dude for a week, meaning that from 9 AM to 5 PM, you go out and do all the things that the Postal Dude needs to do, from going grocery shopping to meeting celebrities at the mall. The game itself is a deconstruction of 90s first-person shooter tropes. It more or less puts you in the shoes of a sociopathic FPS protagonist like Duke Nukem or Serious Sam, and allows you to more or less see how they'd handle a day-to-day situation. The Postal Dude barely reacts to anything around him, and when he does, it's usually through some quip or some sort of sadistic or snide comment. Or at least that's what I got from it. The Postal Dude is whatever the player chooses for him to be, whether they want him to be a pacifist, a vigilante, a sociopath, a psychopath, Jason Voorhees, it's all down to the player's individual preference. Needless to say, I played this as myself to make it a bit more interesting. A hyperbolic version of myself, but yeah, just to make it a bit more interesting. Now, I will admit that I played it on a relatively low difficulty setting, for anyone who likes to shame people for that. I do have a reason for it though, because in this game, the game changes depending on the player's chosen difficulty. NPCs have more powerful weapons depending on your chosen difficulty, and it also means the difference between this game being a normal life simulator on crack, or this game being my life simulator on crack with literally everyone trying to kill you with rocket launchers. I like the normal difficulty because everyone has small arms that they would have in real life. Everyone carrying handguns and the army having assault rifles seems pretty standard to me, rather than literally everyone carrying rocket launchers or some crazy shit like that. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the Postal Dude doesn't live in a third world country like Iraq or Somalia or Texas, so it's unlikely that people would have to carry assault rifles around. So, being fortunate enough to boot this game up the last week of March, I ended up getting a new added option of paid DLC. I stocked up my trolley with the essentials only to be refused service.
Nope.
Because it's an elaborate April Fool's gag. Damn, and here I was ready to spend $200 on all this shit. I mean, who wouldn't want the Gary Coleman Romance expansion pack? Anyway, now that I'm done dicking around, let's start the week. Our story begins in Paradise, and look, 2,000 people have died recently, saving me quite a bit of work. It's here that we're introduced to our protagonist, the Postal Dude. We get to see what kind of life the Postal Dude leads, and it's pretty chaotic to say the least. He lives in a trailer with his morbidly obese wife, and his dog that pisses on him, and his aircon broke.
Why isn't the AC on? Broken.
No matter how many times he shoots it, he just can't get it to work properly. I find that to be a problem often. Anyway, the Postal Dude heads off on his adventure that we know as life. So I get my list of jobs to do today. Nothing too crazy, just picking up my paycheck, cashing it in at the bank, and buying milk. Seems like a pretty straightforward day. I'll find some way to fuck it up though. I start off the day by paying my neighbour a visit, who doesn't really take kindly to me just entering his house uninvited. However, using the magic of friendship, I taught him to overlook such trespasses. I then catch this twat trespassing on my property, so I booted him up the arse and sent him packing. Fortunately, Invisible Gunman is here to save me as he starts firing assault rifle rounds at the fleeing jackass. Fortunately, he's able to find a real assault rifle after a while, as it's hard to aim without the sights on the top. I then do some exploring and treasure hunting, where I find money and even an assault rifle, before the treasure trove's evil guardian starts shooting at me. Fortunately, I saved myself using a big-ass assault rifle.
I was minding my own business, just enjoying my Second Amendment rights, and you people have to freak out on me.
I then encounter a local miscreant prowling the streets and looking for trouble, so I decided to teach him a lesson. Oh shit, what the fuck, man? This priest packing heat! Thankfully though, I was able to defend myself, given that I'm already carrying an armory on my person. However, I was somewhat wrong when I thought that a gun would be enough, and so, using quick thinking and resourcefulness, I doused the priest in gasoline and set him on fire. And then, like a dumbass, I set myself on fire as well, resulting in me having to use some quick thinking and piss all over myself. Finally, I just get to sit back, relax, and admire the justice that's been served. Officer? Oh, there's a priest on fire down there. You might want to arrest him. I'm just saying. Don't want to tell you how you do your job, but... I then arrive at the racist convenience store, where I get to pick up my milk. I can't really tell if the developers genuinely got Islam confused with Hinduism, or if this is mocking the ignorance of most Americans. I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not entirely clear on what the message is with this joke. I mean, it's not Duke Nukem Forever bad, where it's actually fucking offensive to me. Even if this is trying to be offensive, it's too stupid. It doesn't really hit close to home in any way. Duke Nukem Forever, on the other hand, I'll cover that one someday, as I have a lot to say about that one. But this game comes across as a little confused with its messages at times. Maybe it doesn't even have a message, I don't even know.
Here you go.
Please, thank you.
Great.
Man, I gotta stop smoking this crap.
Hello, and what do you want?
Hi there.
Hurry up and buy something. That'll be $5.
You gotta be fucking kidding. Oh, yeah.
I then acquired the milk, and it's at this point that we get to see the task is now completed. It's one thing that I like about this game. Unlike a lot of games that have moral choice systems, this game is all about getting the job done through any means possible. You can do it rationally, irrationally, psychotically, peacefully. It's up to you. I've done a run through of every kind of playthrough at this point, and it gives you a different experience each time you play it. And I quite like that. It also doesn't bog the player down with morals or anything like that. It's merely about getting the job done and getting through the day, through any means necessary. So after having a giant shootout with the convenience store owner, I finally won the day, defeated the evil ogre behind the cash register, and got my hard-earned milk. I wanted to leave, but something told me there was something off about this whole operation. I couldn't really decide what it was. I just had a feeling that I had to investigate. I mean, if it's legal for Britain First to just march into places of business and abuse the people behind the counter over their religious beliefs, why can't I do it?
Get the fuck out! Every single one of these animals have had their throats cut. They've been offered up to Satan, Allah.
It's at this point that another slight flaw is brought up. I'm a bit of a reloading freak in games like this, and so, as a result, I often find myself constantly reloading my weapon after use. It's just force of habit at this point. Postal 2 doesn't have a reload function, because you never run out of clips. Somehow the Postal Dude fits all of his ammo into his gun at the same time. It makes no sense from a practical standpoint, but from a gameplay standpoint it's actually pretty good because it means that you don't have to worry about reloading. And the reload button is the unzip your pants and pull your dick out ready to piss button. No, really. You can imagine how this can be a problem, how I accidentally flash people when I want to reload. It's only a problem for a few minutes before I get used to it, but it often happens when I start a new playthrough after playing a lot of FPS games. So, I find out that I've accidentally infiltrated the terrorist's hideout, like our old counter-terrorist friend, Agent Leslie. It didn't take me long to wipe out my enemies and finally win the day. Oh, and I made a profit of $265. I'm a smarty. Right, you know that Al-Qaeda don't worship Ganesh, right? I mean, I'm just saying. Never mind, fuck it. I think we're past the point of racial insensitivity now, we're just... Mind you, I'm no better for murdering these people. I mean... Actually, no, I don't really care.
That's the ticket.
Pissing on the priest. Pissing on the priest. Spent all fucking New Year's Day pissing on the priest. I arrived to see a commotion outside. It would seem that the violent video games have attracted some local pussies. I mean protesters. Gee, what is this, 2018? Of course, if they watched my videos, they'd know that it was Bucks who were the true villains. So I silenced this farce as quick as possible, and take a few bullets in the process. I arrive at work only to get fired. Great, only the millionth time that's happened to me. At this point, the protesters overwhelm the office building, resulting in me turning against my former employers and giving them all the deaths that they deserve.
I definitely need more of that.
Maybe I should just, Go away. Okay, you run out of your house terrified. I'll go in and steal all your stuff. There we go. You see? If we all just use our words instead of violence, we can come to an understanding a lot quicker. I then befriend a dog by offering him treats, and as a result, he follows me around as my voracious minion. So adorable.
Don't do that, Jack. Never feed a strange dog.
Oh, fuck off, Gary Coleman. What do you know? My final job is to go to the bank, cashing in my check. It doesn't exactly go to plan. Thankfully, though, I was able to cash my check in, regardless of me breaking 84 laws in a row, and I finally managed to get paid. But then some bank robbers broke in and started shooting up the place. So I decided to go to the vault and take all the money to protect it from them. I guess if the police want it back, they can always check the name and address that I left behind. Wait, did I remember to leave one behind? Shit! On the way home, I made another new friend. Hello. Are you having a little dance?
I feel better already.
You're cool. I'll leave the door open for you. I finally make it home, get scolded by my bitch wife, and then drink myself into a stupor to black out for the rest of the night.
Did you go by work?
Yeah, apparently I'm on sabbatical or something.
Well, good. Maybe you can get a few more things done for me.
I'm gonna do a few things to you.
What was that?
Nothing, dear. Enjoy your milk.
Bringing up the moral choice aspect again. The lack of a moral choice system is one of the things that I really like about this game. Unlike a lot of games, it doesn't even care how you do things, just so long as you do them. Due to it not judging you, it's 100% down to the player to determine whether or not they are pleased with their own actions. The world of Postal 2 is kinda surrealist, kinda like South Park or SpongeBob. More like South Park from my view. A lot of characters are satires of real people, or straw men of real world issues, and due to NPCs being very shallow, nobody in the game is particularly likeable, and no player would ever really get attached to anybody. The game doesn't really want to give you any moral or emotional baggage, and wants players to have fun rather than have them constantly having to listen to a bunch of whining from NPCs that they don't care about, or having the game itself tell them that they're a horrific person. I find this to be an issue with a lot of games these days. Telltale used to be a lot better, but now they constantly impose characters and situations on you, immediately expecting you to like or dislike something, or a person. Sometimes even going as far as to punish you with a game over for not reacting accordingly, despite many people having perfectly reasonable reasons for not stepping into a situation. It's kind of like your parents putting you in a room with a girl because they want you to like that girl. That never works. Telltale almost cut Clementine from the original draft of The Walking Dead, because apparently they were worried that players wouldn't get attached to her. Now they've got the opposite problem. They're overconfident in their writing capabilities and assume that we're going to be attached to characters, like a lot of players attached to Clementine almost instantly. An example of this would be the latest Batman episode. Without naming names or anything for plot reasons, one villain was trying to murder another villain, and I personally didn't want to stop it. I figured it was just one less person in the world who was going to cause damage. So, because of this, an attack helicopter appeared out of nowhere and shot me in the face. I'm not even kidding, that's how the game punishes you for not stopping one criminal from killing another. The best part is that the attack helicopter otherwise doesn't appear until much later on in the scene. It's like if in the movie Sliding Doors, the woman who caught the train was immediately stabbed to death by Jason for daring to go against what the movie wants. It's really nice that Postal Dude's simple programming just allows you to do whatever, consequence-free. At least long-term consequence-free. There is a law meter, but it's not really intrusive, and citizens often fight back if they feel threatened, which is more and more likely depending on the difficulty. However, there's no fail state apart from death, and no punishment for doing what you think is necessary, and I honestly commend the game for that. Moral choice systems can sometimes go a little wrong. Fallout 3, in fact, no, the entire Fallout series is guilty of this. Fallout 2 says it's a bad thing to kill slave traders because they are technically merchants. Yes, slavery is condoned with Fallout 2's morality. In Fallout 3, killing someone who's just committed genocide earns you negative karma, because apparently genocide is good when they do it. As you can probably tell, it's incredibly warped to certain people. Some people might even agree with it, but others might not, and therefore it shouldn't tell you what's right and what's wrong. That's kind of the point of choices. We should make them based on what we think is right, rather than what some random developer probably doesn't even believe is right, but just thinks it's the safe bet. In games like Mass Effect, I feel like the morals actually cheapen choices. Because after a while, you kind of stop role-playing in the role-playing games that have moral choice systems. Ironically, you have to go against what you'd want to do, or what your character would want to do, so you can get good or bad points depending on what you want to do as a player. A lot of people are upset that Fallout 4 dropped the karma meter. I personally was not one of them. I know it's sort of integral to the series, like it is Infamous or Mass Effect, but I'm not gonna lie, I personally just don't like moral choice systems. I'd much rather judge myself and not have some other random person judge me, especially if they're not gonna let me explain myself afterwards. Paradise Visitors Bureau. I'm not a visitor, but I pay for it in my taxes, so I have the right to steal everything inside.
Yeah, baby, I am the Lizard King.
So I'm just eating catnip, because why not? Like Halle Berry in that film. Swordfish. I don't know. What, is everything slow-mo? Hey, lady.
Now the flowers will grow.
Slow motion vomit. Don't cross the streams. Nice. Sorry about that. I'm not really sorry about that. That was too funny. I wake up super early to a marching band. Hooray! What a wonderful way to start the morning. Well, until some stupid Taliban arsehole ruins it by suicide bombing the parade. God damn it, this is unacceptable. Time to deal with this. The Trump way. Take that, ISIS! Anyway, I go around and get signatures for my petition. I get mixed results.
Petition. I've got stuff to do.
I'm sorry.
Shit. Are you gonna sign this, or will it be your surviving family members? Hi there. Would you like to sign my petition?
No way, you freaking pinko.
You gotta be fucking kidding. Would you please sign my petition?
Sorry.
Shit. Sign my petition, damn it.
I'm down.
Hi there. Would you like to sign my petition?
I'm sorry.
You gotta be fucking kidding. Look, just sign the stupid petition. I've got stuff to do.
I'm sorry.
Shit. Sign this petition or I'll follow you home and kill your dog.
What happened? Oh, terrorist attack. This one's still alive.
Hi there. Would you like to sign my petition?
That's okay, take your time. I then go to my local library to return a book, and it's here that I encountered protesters from a movement close to my heart, the eradication of books. I'm glad that someone took the piece of propaganda that I put out seriously, because I sure as fuck didn't.
Ticket. That can't be good.
I'm then skulking around the porn section of the library, and look who I found! Osama bin Laden? What are you doing here? So I say hi in my own special way, by pissing on his face, and it results in a cultural misunderstanding. I then try throwing the book into the repository, but it got stuck, forcing me to reload the game annoyingly enough. This angers the local protesters who were summoned to burn the entire library, with me inside it. Why does this always happen to me? So, now I have to fight my way out of a burning library. I wouldn't even mind, but we're on the same side. I have an irrational hatred towards books as well. Your parents are going to die. Stop getting my hopes up, billboards. Oh. No, I'm a responsible gun owner. Yeehaw! See? Responsible. Oh, okay, he's gone. Shame. An ATM and I can smash it. You ready? Yeah, rich. Oh. I'm not being cuffed. Fuck you. Yeah, well, impress this. Ah, shit, run! Run away! Ah! I don't want to be arrested. I won't last long in prison. Oh, he's still following me, isn't he? Shit, I left a trail. Run, run. I finally go to the mall, and after some exploration... Run. What the fuck is this? Fuck off. Whoa, you guys making McDonald's in here? Oh, the fuck, man? You scared me. That's for having such a disgusting tie. I finally arrive at the atrium where I meet Gary Coleman. Unfortunately, there's a line, as always, so I find an inventive way to get to the front.
Sick bastard!
Tiny tap. Oh, that's disgusting. Huh? You ruined my Hands up.
Sadly, Gary did not survive. I even had a touching funeral for him, and developer Mike J, who both died at the scene, I think. I'll cremate him. Gary boy. The gas is flowing. I'm going to burn your stupid ass alive. Because I don't know how to do funerals. Gary boy. R.I.P. and all that shit. Shut up, this is a funeral. You could show some more respect, you stupid cotwombles. What are you shooting at me for? This is a funeral. For Gary Coleman. You have no respect. Fucking dick. Well, R.I.P. Gary, I'll miss you. R.I.P. Mike J. Now I have to do a funeral for Mike J. R.I.P. Mike J, you asshole. Even though I killed you in the expansion. Right, fuck it. Just burn and shit. Okay, just burn. Alright, there we go. Speaking of holy shit, I had to go to church. I was thankful that the priest had whipped up a donation for me that I had around $100 in it. So thoughtful of them. I tried to go to confession, but I was told to go to the back of the line. I don't know what line he was referring to.
Bless me, Father, for I have really sinned. Really. I'm not kidding here. Big sinner. Yep.
Did you drop an offering in the box?
Thanks.
Yes.
Then you are forgiven, my son. Next!
Thanks.
It's at this point that those Taliban rapscallions break into the church and start shooting it up. I was afraid that the priest would likely die without having his sins cleared, so I decided to do the Christian thing of dousing him in gasoline and setting him alight, so that all the impurities of the flesh can be burnt away.
It belongs in a great big fire!
So, after fighting off all the religious fanatics, I honestly couldn't tell them apart, so I just killed them all. I finally was home free and was able to make my way home. And so I returned to my home, to my loving wife and well-trained dog. Life couldn't possibly get better. Or could it? Probably, who cares?
Hey, did you get Gary Coleman's autograph? I can get a small fortune for it on eBay.
Right, a small fortune. Say, aren't those things more valuable after the person is, deceased?
Yes, why?
No reason. Can I borrow your computer?
Hey, mallet, awesome. What? Now, come on, man. This is just institutionalized racism. And I'm not impressed. You're supposed to be a Christian! Oh, that explains why he drew his gun on me. So, today I'm given the task of voting, getting a Christmas tree, and pissing on my dad's grave. Seems like a pretty standard day. I do like this nod to the ballot papers of the 2000 general election. There are a lot of complaints similar to the ones stated in this game, though it's a pretty dated joke considering that it hasn't been an issue in nearly 20 years. Hell, I only know about it because I attended a politics course in college. If you live outside America, your chances of knowing about it are pretty damn slim. Anyway, I go up to pay a visit to dear old dad, so I can piss on his face. You know, come to think of it, I have solved a lot of my problems that way, haven't I? Oh, speaking of which, I pissed on another priest. And then this Taliban twat, who tried throwing Molotovs at me. Pissing on him didn't seem to work though. He lights me on fire and I managed to solve this issue by, well, pissing on the fire, of course. Dousing him in gas and throwing a match on him seemed to do the trick. I guess that's like my second favourite method of dealing with problems. I've not really needed a third.
Yeah.
I then try walking down the street and some protesters throw a grenade at me and I end up having to run for my life again. Thankfully I was able to enact some justice by throwing a grenade up there and watching the arsehole blow up. Finally I reached the church, which has been taken over by those nice fellas at Al-Qaeda. I'd call this a bit of an improvement. Well, until a police officer tries to arrest me, resulting in me having to set her on fire along with the rest of these backward savages. I was making such a good impression as well. Then I meet this redneck with a shovel who tries to attack me for some reason, so I gun him down. I'm sure he's happy that he died for my Second Amendment rights. Anyway, I do some exploring around the graveyard, only to find Zombie Dad, who rises from the dead to attack me with a machete, so I end up blowing his head off with a shotgun. It's at this point that I realise that I have a hatchet! So I finally reach my dad's grave and I pay my respects. Sadly, these backwards, religiously motivated savages... No, not those ones, the other savages, yeah, those guys. They attack me. They come out of nowhere like a ghost on the wind and lock me up in some weird sex dungeon. Sadly, I end up getting the shovel before them. I try my deft tactic of throwing a match at them, but I'm foiled by... reality. So I beat them to death with a shovel instead, which proves a lot more effective. I take some time to practice my football skills for the next time Loz makes me do a match day. I do love that you can kick people's severed heads around. Nobody seems to give a shit most of the time, and dogs will even play fetch with you. It's cute in a psychotic way. I then leave to find out that I'm in a damn gimp costume, complete with assless chaps. Great. It's definitely a Wednesday. So now I have to go down to the laundry place and get my clothes replaced. Oh well, things were going a little too smoothly anyway. It was going to get a bit boring after a while. Yes, you are stuck in this gimp suit the entire day until you get an outfit change. Though this does nothing to the gameplay. The only difference is that every NPC in the game stops to laugh at you, and I can only threaten them so many times before it gets boring. I fall down an air shaft and accidentally hurt myself, so I eat a dog biscuit to make myself feel better. Yeah, dog biscuits make you feel better. It's like Lethal Weapon 3 or something. A lot of food items heal you 3 to 10 HP at a time. Of course, this is only the case if they're nice to eat. If they aren't, then they'll only have like 1 or 2 HP at a time. It's good that if you don't want to use the dog-cat bait, you can still eat it and gain some strength or health back. It's good that the game doesn't penalise you for not wanting to use these items by having them clog up your inventory. Health pipes boost your health up to 125 for a price, since you have heart troubles and it hurts you after a while. This could mean that you get a chunk of your health knocked off after a while, but I've never really known it to be that much of a problem, believe it or not. Not that big of one anyway. I kill all of the rednecks and tidy the bodies up by kicking them into a chemical vat, because I'm that responsible. Remember kids, pick up after yourself. I hope that none of them come back as the Joker. That would make my day complete, wouldn't it? I leave and go for my next job of picking up a Christmas tree. I guess I wanted to be ahead of the curve. I mean, it is July and these things do sneak up on you. Along the way, some people make some hurtful comments about my new outfit, so I decided to teach them the error of their ways by decapitating them. Want me? Look, that black lady did it. Hope they believe that. Police are stupid and racist, so they'll probably believe that. Okay. I am Gimp Man, the legendary superhero. I then found myself on an elephant ranch. Things went bad pretty quickly. It took some time, but I finally found the perfect Christmas tree. Ah shit, not these redneck arseholes again. Anyway, after dispatching the rednecks, I finally was ready to leave with my prize, the ultimate Christmas tree. You son of a bitch. Let's do this. Holy shit, I actually did it.
Now the feel so good. Fight my ass. That stuff is addictive. Didn't you just save? That's the ticket.
Anyway, I return home, pick up my dry cleaning, and I'm no longer a laughingstock. You know, that gimp outfit was starting to get a bit comfortable.
A Christmas tree! I can't wait to decorate it.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap since it's July and all.
Well, I hope you voted today. Your choices will affect the future.
You don't say.
What was that?
I said, do we have any beer? I worked up a killer thirst today.
Back to Norman. Well, as Norman as I can be. The next morning, I awoke to find that I needed some napalm to do some gardening. I also needed to get my hands on the latest toy, and I also needed some steaks. Oh, and pay off a fine at the local police station. I stop off on my way to my first job only to find that the ATF get all anal about it and hold me at gunpoint. I mean, I was robbing drug dealers, that's not a crime, right? Fuck it, so I go to a local butcher's to gather up some steaks. Needless to say, the service is terrible. Not only do I have to get my own steaks, because there's no one to serve me, but when I do find a member of staff qualified to serve me, they try to cannibalize me. Then the fucking police break in and try to kill me as well. Ugh, last time I shop here. The day that self-service checkouts become the norm is the day that I walk out of a convenience store with a smile on my face. After a while, I go to the police station to pay off my fine, as I don't really like things like that hanging over my head. I try to be a good person when I can. Anyway, they expect me to pay £300 for a speeding ticket, and I only killed like 6 kids, so it's not that big a deal. I'm not paying it. Fuck it. I decided to just return my speed ticket to the drop box on the 3rd floor. After all, it must be a mistake. However, the police don't really take kindly to people snooping around the evidence lockers, and they start attacking me. Fucking douche nozzles. I fight my way up to the top floor, deciding that if these corrupt cops care more about my minor transgressions than the actions of real criminals, then it's time to take justice into my own hands. So I kind of got carried away and murdered everyone in the jail cells. I then went to this chemical plant to retrieve the napalm gun. I tried paying for the gun, but I accidentally caused a bit of a scene and ended up having to kill everyone. Oops. After getting the napalm gun, I was able to rule it off, despite the fact that the napalm gun is neither practical or particularly a fun way to kill people. You might have noticed that I use an axe or a scythe in most of the footage, mostly because I prefer the definitive nature of those weapons. It's harder to miss with them, and you can more or less just one-hit kill most of your enemies. It was fun escaping the exploding building though. Kind of reminded me of the Half-Life games. You know, the good ones. After being flushed down a toilet, I finally find myself back outside, ready to get back to the mall and look for the prized crotchy doll. Pissing in the fountain. Pissing in the... Okay. I get inside the store and get to meet Crotchy in person. Hello, Bad Touch Crotchy. Sadly though, there aren't any dolls of his likeness left, just this stupid lobster prick. In an effort to find a Crotchy doll, I go to the back room. You know, in a lot of instances, people seem to think that there is a warehouse in the back room of most stores. 9 out of 10 times, it's just a little shitty store cupboard with barely anything in it. Anyway, everyone throws a bitch fit because I break into the back room. They draw their guns on me, which is exactly what happened at Toys R Us when I went to buy Medabots. One thing that I think they're alluding to with this part of the game is that toy companies understock woefully, and it's on purpose as well. This is why Nintendo products are so rare and worth a fortune, as Nintendo actually operates as a toy company first, rather than a games manufacturer, and are willing to distribute just 3 units of a product to just one store. Yeah, so when a new console comes out, they'll send 3 units, 3 of that console to the store. The NES and SNES classics were distributed in this way. This is why it was practically impossible to get your hands on one when they first came out. The fact that the store is just full of toys that nobody wants could be a clever nod to this, though it could also just be a joke that nobody really likes Larry. I'd like to think it was the former. So I go to the manager's office and file my complaint, but then I just decide to cut to the heart of it with my new toy! The scythe is definitely my favourite weapon in this game. It would be impractical in real life, but in this game it's a killing machine and it's so cathartic to use. Once I get my hands on the scythe, I seldom use guns. Chopping people up is just way more satisfying. Anyway, the cops break in and try to stop me, like the assholes that they are. I'm this town's true bringer of justice, bitch! Anyway, after justice is brought to the cops, I finally have a one-on-one fight with the man himself, Crotchy. After the Easter Bunny, this guy is a piece of piss to kill. He does use a powerful missile launcher that follows you around, and has a large amount of health and seems to be immune to the scythe's attacks. However, I'm quickly able to dispatch him, so it's cool. Shit, I just killed some guy dressed as a giant nutsack. When the fuck did my show become this? Anyway, I return home and redecorate the floor with my new napalm gun. Oh, happy days. That was getting annoying. This morning I have to pick up an alternator, pick up a package, and deliver my uncle's birthday present. The first thing that I do is pick up the package, which is now kind of like a life simulator, because this is what I have to do a lot when I order shit for this show. Yeah, you're welcome. Whilst visiting some people at my local crack house, I realise that I have some sort of venereal disease, and now I have to go to the clinic, after killing everyone and stealing their shit, of course. Sadly, I get ambushed by Al-Qaeda on my way down there. Using my Bill Clinton-esque diplomacy skills and a sniper rifle, mostly a sniper rifle, I managed to get them to leave me alone. Them trying to stop me actually makes little sense, given that they were the ones who sent me the package. Yeah, it was a fucking bomb. Maybe they were just trying to deflect suspicion? I don't know. Anyway, I apparently pissed off a terrorist organisation enough that they'd send me fan mail.
That guy over there did it.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
They also made me pay a fee. Pieces of shit. I decided to live up to this game's title by going postal. With a scythe? Wait, is it going postal if you use a scythe? Ah, shit. According to Wikipedia, I don't qualify. I'm not extremely and uncontrollably angry. I'm indifferent. Damn it. I fight my way back out and exit, saddened that my copy of Too Dark Special Edition hadn't turned up yet. I then make my way to the junkyard where I meet this fat arsehole who charges me a load of money for a junked alternator. $500? Fuck that. So I sliced him to pieces and just took it. I mean, at this point, it's probably one of many kicking about. Ah! Dogs! Ah! Fire! I regret everything! I regret everything I've ever done! So I managed to escape with the alternator and find a copy of Postal 3, which I proceeded to piss on. The developers of this game really don't like Postal 3. You actually get an achievement for pissing on a copy of the game. I'll explain why someday, as I'd like to cover that game separately. Speaking of gonorrhea, I have to go to the clinic to get myself checked out. It's the only time in the game that I can walk around showing my dick to everyone. Not that that ever stopped me before, but, you know. Anyway, I showed my dick to enough people and eventually found the cure machine. Needless to say, my aim was pretty perfect. I then make it to Uncle Dave's, which is a compound for a cult in the ass end of nowhere. Here's something funny, Uncle Dave's character in the movie is played by Dave Foley. He was quite famous to me and a lot of other people who grew up in the 90s as Flick from Bug's Life. And in one scene in that movie, he's bollock naked. So yeah, I've seen Flick's prick. Yeah, that's something else I need to work out in therapy. Anyway, turns out that his party is some gate crashers. Those fucking party poopers at the ATF have to ruin everything. Stupid fascists, why do they have to get in my way?
We're not zealots! Eat lead and die, unbelieving heathen scum.
Secure the area. Comb the perimeter.
I quite like this part of the game because it's seemingly based off of the Waco massacre of '93, which is one of the more interesting, heavily publicised police standoffs. I wasn't sure if I should talk about it since I'm not sure how widely known it is. Outside of the US especially. However, if you look it up via article or from watching a video, you can make a drinking game out of all the times that video games come up in the explanation as to why it happened. So I hack, slash and gouge my way in, and I find myself in an underground bunker. I actually quite like the school bus bomb shelters, since they remind me of Bruce Beach. He built his own fallout shelter in Canada. He refers to it as Ark 2, as a reference to the Bible, and it's around 10,000 square foot, mostly made out of old school buses that have been buried underground. It has a working orphanage, a distribution facility service for supplies, and a refugee processing facility. He also has a grinding mill for wheat, which again is quite impressive. He really has thought of everything. Apparently 350 people can live in this thing and be comfortable, though I'm not too sure about that given that it looks like the place where Freddy Krueger hangs his hat after a long day of murdering children. There's also power generators on the surface, for all the sense that that makes. I mean, if you've got fallout outside your house, why would you have a power generator outside? If it conks out, you're fucked. Unless someone sacrifices himself to get it going again. Anyway, it powers up an entire security system, which is made entirely out of old Commodore computers. He even has something set up so he can poke firearms out and shoot at attacking mutants or Mexicans or whatever he thinks is going to attack his base. Maybe he just wants to pass the time by shooting people once the world ends. I don't blame him, to be honest. Now, if the world ended, I would honestly love to be stuck inside this thing with him. Not because I think it's safe, fuck no, but this guy insists that he's this vault's overseer. Yeah, when everything goes to shit and people go to him, he will be humanity's charge as we try to recover from the nuclear holocaust. We would most definitely die in a week if that was the case. But I would at least be very amused. I mean, if you're gonna die, might as well have a circus perform for you whilst you do so. This bomb shelter has apparently been condemned and deemed unsafe a number of times by various people. Yeah, a place of refuge for survival is unsafe for people to go into. Never mind living. Hello. I actually get to explore the church from the inside, breathe in the propaganda, admire the architecture, and get stared at by weirdos and yelled at a lot. Like always when I'm in a church. Anyway, I deliver the birthday present, and meeting my Uncle Dave gets some heartwarming bonding time killing cops. So, on my way home, I encounter an enemy of mine, the fat ATF commander, who I just decapitate without even realising it. I'm on my way home and wouldn't you know it, the apocalypse hits. This always happens on days when I forget my umbrella. Hello, I'd like to buy something. Oh, I see.
Wow, these things never get dull.
Shitting Christ. No. Does this mean I've lost my job? Oh yeah, I lost my job in one day. Oh good, I get to kill you. Good. Justice. That's what you get for reporting me to the police every day this week. So, by cutting some corners, I finally arrive home, and after paying my good neighbour a visit, I return to my trailer and get to enjoy the dramatic ending.
Honey, I'm home. You won't believe the day I've had.
About friggin' time. Did you remember my rocky road?
So, I guess that concludes it. Postal 2 is a Marmite game. People love it, people hate it. Never met anyone who just said, yeah, that was a thing that existed. A lot of people have different opinions on it, and I think all those opinions are actually right. However, its crass nature and rather open world, open in a sense that there's a lot of content to explore, is good for me. I personally love that. Open world these days tends to mean a large open landscape with absolutely fuck all in it, and because of that, I'm really put off by the idea. However, because Postal 2 is so big and you can explore so much of it, and yet it's also small and compact together so that there's a lot of content, I actually really like this game. And as a result, I've played it quite a few times. Even the bits that I don't particularly like are easy to overlook because I just like playing this game as a game. Which is very rare because in a lot of cases I usually have to make some excuse for the gameplay for the sake of the story or some other aspect that I really like. But Postal 2 is a game that I enjoy as a game. All of its other aspects are a bit questionable at times, but overall I'd say that it's definitely got its heart in the right place. Anyway, join me next time when... Wait, what the fuck?
I am the Tengu Easter Bunny hybrid abomination that nobody asked for. Everything is my delusion.
No. Just no.
What? No? But I'm your sworn enemy. I'm the season finale main boss. You can't just dismiss me like I'm a cold caller. Get your ass back here and...
Believe me, it's better this way.
Sector 9000, please step forward and urinate. If you have a small bat, step up closer to the plate. Try not to splash me.
Ugh. Fuck. Ah. Ow. Shit. Ah. Ah. Ow. Shit. Ow. Ugh. Fuck.
Don't splash me, impudent human. Good God, that is disgusting. Thanks for the urine. Gonna have a nice day.